That was all, and it brought them round to action. But as I sent them on towards Scylla, I told them nothing, as they could do nothing. They would have dropped their oars again in panic to roll for cover under the decking. Circe's bidding against arms had slipped my mind, so I tied on my cuirass and took up 2 heavy spears, then made my way along to the foredeck, thinking to see her first from there, the monster of the grey rock, harboring torment for my friends. I strained my eyes upon that cliffside veiled in cloud, but nowhere could I catch sight of her. And all this time in travail, sobbing, gaining on the current, we rowed into the strait, Scylla to port, and on our starboard beam Charybdis, dire gorge of the salt sea tide. By heaven, when she vomited, all the sea was like a cauldron seething over intense fire, when the mixture suddenly heaves and rises. The shot spume soared to the landside heights and fell like rain. But when she swallowed the sea water down, we saw the funnel of the maelstrom, heard the rock bellowing all around, and dark sand raged on the bottom far below. My men all blanched against the gloom, our eyes were fixed upon that yawning mouth in fear of being devoured. Then Scylla made her strike, whisking 6 of my best men from the ship. I happened to glance aft at ship and oarsmen, and caught sight of their arms and legs dangling high overhead. Voices came down to me in anguish, calling my name for the last time. A man surf casting on a point of rock for bass or mackerel, whipping his long rod to drop the sinker and the bait far out, will hook a fish and rip it from the surface to dangle wriggling through the air. So these were borne aloft in spasms toward the cliff. She ate them as they shrieked there in her den, in the dire grapple, reaching still for me, and deathly pity ran me through at the sight. Far the worst I ever suffered, questing the passes of the strange sea. We rowed on. The rocks were now behind, Charybdis too, and Scylla dropped astern. Then we were coasting the noble island of the god, where grazed those cattle with wide brows and bounteous flocks of Helios, lord of noon, who rides high heaven. From the black ship, far still at sea, I heard the lowing of the cattle winding home, and sheep bleating, and heard too in my heart the words of blind Tiresias of Thebes and Circe of Aia. Both forbade me the island of the world's delight, the sun. So I spoke out in gloom to my companions. Shipmates, grieving and weary though you are, listen. I had forewarning from Tiresias and Circe too. Both told me I must shun this island of the sun, the world's delight. Nothing but fatal trouble shall we find here. Pull away, then, and put the land astern. That strained them to the breaking point, and cursing, Eurylochus cried out in bitterness, "Are you flesh and blood, Odysseus, to endure more than a man can? Do you never tire? God, look at you, iron is what you're made of. Here we all are, half dead with weariness, falling asleep over the oars, and you say, no landing, no firm island earth where we could make a quiet supper. No, pull out to sea, you say, with night upon us, just as before, but wandering now and lost. Sudden storms can rise at night and swamp ships without a trace. Where is your shelter if some stiff gale blows up from south or west? The the winds that break up shipping every time when seamen flout the Lord God's will. I say, do as the hour demands and go ashore before black night comes down. We'll make our supper alongside and at dawn put out to sea. Now when the rest said aye to this, I saw the power of destiny devising ill. Sharply I answered without hesitation, Eurylochus, they are with you to a man. I am alone, outmatched. Let this whole company swear me a great oath. Any herd of cattle or flock of sheep here found shall go unharmed. No one shall slaughter out of wantonness ram or heifer. All shall be content with what the goddess Circe put aboard. They fell at once to swearing as I ordered. When the round of oaths had ceased, we found a half-moon bay to beach and moor the ship in, with a fresh spring near by. All hands ashore went about skillfully getting up a meal. Then after thirst and hunger, those besiegers were turned away. They mourned for their companions, plucked from the ship by Scylla and devoured. And sleep came soft upon them as they mourned.